Yo, Ferg here, and you're watching SFTV.
Hello, everyone. Welcome into another exciting game of Mechabellum where I face off against an opponent from the 201 server. My opponent decides to take the Farseer Specialist with Steel Ball Fang, while I take the Elite Specialist with Storm and Crawlers. Now, the Steel Balls are quite good into my Storms, if they can get into range, obviously, and are generally used in aggro scenarios, just, for that purpose. So I decide to position very defensively. That way I can engage either side of the board with most of my army. Typically, balls will win round one against storms, especially if they are positioned asymmetrically. However, my thought process isn't to win the round, but to lose the least amount of HP possible. I want to get some arc lights out because I need a form of crawler clear in case opponent goes crawlers, which can counter my storms. And level 2 arc lights are typically good against balls, especially good if you run charge shot. My opponent decides to take some arc lights as well, seeing as I have 3 packs of crawlers. And we'll speed up our deployments. My opponent is not necessarily on the line with the balls. They're kind of coming in later. And yeah, let's watch the fight. So the storms lock the fangs right away, which is nice. Get a little bit of extra chaff clear. Crawlers come in to distract, but they are getting shot by the arc lights, so they get cleared pretty quickly. My arc light in front of my tower is doing its best, but can only kill one ball. The arc light on the left side doing a better job, but still no bueno there. Balls do end up getting onto my storms, and we almost take out that arc light. More volley, yes, we do. We don't lose by much. 378 damage, and we're still about 4k, so that's nice. Round 2 reinforcements show up, and Subsidized Mustang is a card. I probably won't bother with flanking, so quick teleport is a no from me, dog. Anti-interference module. It could have been a play, but probably only gets a small amount of value. And extended range Phantom Ray didn't receive a buff, or did receive a buff, but only 10 range, and no one picks this card. So who knows if it could be good. Anyway, who doesn't love cheaper Mustangs? Even my opponent takes it. So my opponent decides to stay no more chaff and builds 2 crawlers, one to try a possible late tower take, and one to help the balls against my arc lights. My opponent takes the steel ball level, and even though my storms are doing a decent job clearing fangs, I know they're just not going to be good here in the long term. So I check which one is doing less damage, and then I decide to sell that one. The sell allows me to purchase a Mustang and an Arclight on round 2, which is typically hard to do as elite. I position the Arclight and Mustang on the right side, with the Mustang vertical as to participate with the flank if need be. I knew I could get away with putting my Mustangs quite far up because my opponent does not currently have the range to deal with them while they're already clearing the fangs, which is their job at this point. And thanks to Elite Spec, the level advantage I have allows my Arclights to kind of just clean up the rest of the board here once all the chaff is dead. So yeah, Storm is actually doing a decent job here, clearing these balls out now. Arclight cleaning up those late crawlers. They did get pulled all the way into the center. I think the opponent wanted them to come in and take the tower instead. And yeah, there's the round. 2 Arclights and a pack of Storms, and the opponent is down to 4,500 HP. And round 3 reinforcements is a unit drop. Phantom Ray, Marksman, Typhoon, Phoenix. All decent picks here depending on what the game plan is. I'm gonna take the Marksman here. It's 4 deploys, which is really nice. Half the pack is air here. And so I think the Marksmen are just going to be the best choice in this position. Typhoon could be an option too, but I already have Mustangs filling that role, so I don't need to fill that role anymore. And my opponent takes the Phantom Ray. I think they know that I'm going to Mustangs, so having Phantom Rays with armor could be really good here. But they didn't account that I would also take 4 Marksmen, which turned out to be really good against the Phantom Ray. So there's the pickup from the opponent. And there's a Marksman for me. Opponent levels the tower, builds another Phantom Ray. I set up my Marksman kind of at the crawler line here, and I just position them so that they are taking care of every angle, essentially. Run another Arclight and get range, and then I can also buy another Mustang, which I do, and I put it right here. Opponent puts a crawler here to distract the storms, but the storms are gone, and buys another late Fang here to protect this tower, even though they already leveled it to 2. And yeah, I sold that storm there, which gave me all that money to be able to get all these deploys on round 3 as elite spec, which is really nice because that's the hardest part about being elite. Getting those good units down and being able to get all your deployments out. Yeah, Mustang's acting as chaff at this point after they've cleared the crawlers, which is really nice. And the Arclight does survive those shots from the Phantom Ray. And yeah, we clean up the round there, which is really nice. Nice 1,000 damage. Down to 3,500 HP. And round 4 reinforcements are kind of juicy. Yeah. They would be good if we could use them. Like the enhancement module doesn't really get any value because we're not selling off these units. We need these units, and nothing's really leveling at this point. So, yeah, we're not taking that. Mobilized battleship. He's got a Farseer now, or they've got a Farseer now. So, probably not the best to, have Rays and Farseer against the battleship. And then we've got Mobile Beacon, which could have made a play to this tower with some balls or something. But we're probably not getting through that anytime quick. So our tower timing would probably suck anyways. And yeah, the only real option here is additional deployment slot, which is not necessarily good for elite, but we know how to make it work, so we take it. And so does the opponent. I level up the Marksman there. There's a breakpoint for Phantom Ray, which is 3159. And I believe that's 2 something for the Marksman shot at level 1. So now Marksman will one-shot these level 1 Phantom Rays at level 2. So we want those levels for sure. I get myself another Arclight, and I want to cover all sides here. So I'm going to place the Arclight over there. My opponent buys another Phantom Ray, a crawler behind this tower, and takes the stealth enhancement. Stealth Cloak. I decided to buy 2 crawlers and put them in the back here just in case there's any cheekiness going on. And my opponent oils, which not really that effective. We range the Mustangs here because we want them to survive now rather than act as chaff. Because we did buy those extra 2 packs of crawlers, we don't need them to be chaff anymore. And Stealth Cloak doing decent work of dodging the marksman. And these Phantom Rays are getting in on that Arclight. However, these crawlers do come in and distract, and the marksmen are able to clean them up. And yeah, that's the round. Another nice round. Damage ramping up nicely here. Round 5 reinforcements bring news of a booming economy. Defense tactics, Acid Blast is 250 credits of Do Nothing, and Absorption Module isn't that effective for my current unit choices. I decided to take the Super Supply, which is, you know, in hindsight, I probably could have just skipped and I would have been fine. But as a safety net, I took it. And if this does go long, then and the opponent takes it, I'm kind of screwed. And it's also nice for elite because you get extra money to be able to afford all those nice juicy level 2 units. So yeah, I could potentially win on this round, potentially the round after. So super supply is probably not the best, but I do see that, okay, opponent's doing some weird stuff that, you know, might just turn the tide quite heavily for a round, and I might lose a lot of HP. But we read this quite easily, and we know that there's fire coming down. So we had a mobile beacon. We take some levels here. And we decide to move these guys out of the oil. Or I guess I do take the marksman with me. And I just move them out over here so that the oil gets lit. Then they're not sitting in the fire. I shield up knowing that, yeah, there's probably going to be a Vulcan here at level 1. And so I can just put a shield there and it'll just get stuck on the shield and never light the oil. And I buy some more chaff and put it over here on the left, as if it does get lit on fire, then, you know, it's kind of a waste of chaff that turn. So I'm just going to put it over here to help support this side. The opponent went for range as well on the Vulcan. Yeah, you can just see that by the time the crawlers come up, or by the time the shield breaks, the crawlers are already up past the oil, and this Vulcan is no use now, really. Left side's doing way better. Arclight is actually managing to survive now with the help of that extra chaff. And eventually the Vulcan does light the oil on fire, but it's kind of too late. All the chaff's already dead. And yeah, round 5, nice and strong there. Down to 1125 for the opponent. Round 6. We get more units, which is nice. It's always good for elite if you can get deployments. So I'm looking at these options and I'm thinking, yeah, storms are a no-go because we already sold out of the ones we had, and there's nothing really stormable on opponent's board except for the Vulcan, Fangs, Arclights. which are already kind of dying anyways. And yeah, Rhino could be good with armor. Same with the Worm. 2 brick the Vulcan. But I really like the Sabertooth here. Level 6 Sabertooth is just the beast. So we're going to go ahead and pick up the Saber. Our opponent is going to take the Rhinos because they're thinking, I need money. And so they immediately sell one and buy another Vulcan. We're going to put our Saber in front of the tower here. Level our Mustang, level our Marksman, level our Arc Lights. We're going to missile out these crawlers because we want our chaff coming in a little bit faster here. We're going to buy another Mustang, set it up in front of this Marksman. And since we have range and there's chaff that is quite far forward, we can kind of just sit them in front of the board here, so that we're not really scared of the Vulcans shooting at them. Our crawlers will get in much sooner than the Mustangs. So we go another Saber, put it on this side. Kind of just want to double up our efforts on our strong side here. Even though this side is doing quite well, we don't know that he has a Vulcan and a Rhino coming in, even though that doesn't really matter at this point. We do shoot these crawlers out, which is kind of actually a bad move on my end, because these Mustangs would be a little bit further back and they wouldn't get locked on by the Vulcan. Sticky oil bomb comes out and we're like, oh yeah, fire is a thing, but this level 6 Saber doesn't care about fire at this point. Our level 3 Mustangs are still alive. We're chewing through these Phantom Rays. The left side actually does get in and takes our tower. Just after we take their tower, a bunch of sticky oil bombs coming down, lighting everything on fire. We don't really have that many Mustangs left. We do have this extra pack of crawlers coming over into this tower. And now the Vulcan is going to get stuck on the Saber, and while that happens, we're going to clear out the Phantom Rays. And yeah, the Saber takes the Vulcan out, and we win the round, but we don't win the game. So we do go to round 7. Super Supply still not really doing anything for us at this point. But we're not doing as much damage now. Maybe we start losing some rounds. Who knows what's going to happen. So it's always good to have that. Elite Crawler, Missile Strike, Lightning Storm, Orbital Jav. I'm happy to see the Jav. Lightning Storm is also a good pick here. And even the Missile Strike is just cost effective and can get value in some form. Now, Elite Crawler is just a throw into the Vulcans. So I'm going to grab the Orbital Jav, and my opponent will take the Lightning Storm. And so we've got a bunch of levels to take. I set up my orbital over here on this Vulcan because I saw that this one was ready to level up, and if it did, it would survive Jav. Well, I was like, okay, well, I'll just take this one out then. The opponent also goes for Incendiary Bomb, so really spreading the fire. But, double shot is such a cheap tech. I just go, okay, I'm going to get another Sabertooth to deal with that left Vulcan and take double shot. I take Missile Interceptor on my Mustangs to help with A, the missiles coming from the Vulcans, but B, the missiles coming out from the Phantom Rays. My opponent decides to take shields on the Phantom Rays against my Marksman, but it's only going to keep them alive for a little bit longer. And if they can't kill anything, then they're just going to be sitting ducks. I put another Mustang back here just in case. And then I also put a crawler here and a cheeky little beacon because I had it available. So just to make sure that they're running straight through to distract the missiles coming from the Vulcans. And I only had enough for one more shield. We do lone and range. Opponent does the same. And I just want to protect my Mustangs over here. Half of them die, but it's okay. We don't really lose that much to the storm. And since the Jav comes down, the right side is quite open, and even so, our left side is doing quite well, having those extra bodies just move up and distract these phantom rays. And at this point, we get the tower, and all that's left are the phantom rays. Basically, not being able to shoot, just sitting there taking damage. And yeah, that'll be the game. So let's go. Let's talk about this for a sec. Opponent, I think misread the game pretty heavily. They kind of tried to transition out of balls and go into phantom rays, and then the late Vulcans. It's a late game comp, or at least mid to late game comp. And I also just, for some reason, had better economy as the elite specialist player. And we both took the same cards basically. Not much there. I think the level advantages was just too good. Our ability to transition out of the storms and into Mustangs with Sub Mustang was really nice. The Saber drop, I think, was the correct choice because it kills the worm, it kills the rhinos, and it kind of loses to the storm callers. So we were gonna go missile interceptor anyways, so it didn't really matter. So I took the sabers there, which was really nice. Arclights did a fantastic job dealing with the balls early, and they kind of lost their effectiveness later into the game. And yeah, marksman, level 1 marksman doing an excellent job taking out phantom rays early on as well. So don't underestimate the marksman, especially if you have good chaff clear and good chaff to tank to distract for as long as possible. Anyways, that's going to be it for me. I hope you enjoyed. Consider subscribing, leaving a like, and comment your thoughts down below in the comments section about the video. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.